Metal on an ukulele. Why not, dude? I mean, Rob Scallon and Sarah Longfield have done it.
What's up, guys, and welcome to this week's episode of #asktuggtv. Now, this is a segment where we answer your questions to the best of our abilities and get to know you guys a lot more better as well. So without any further ado, let's start with the questions right away. Guillermo asks us, thoughts on Behringer UMC 22? Well, Guillermo, the UMC 22 is one of these entry-level interfaces what Behringer has to offer. If you're somebody who's starting off with your home recording setup, this is one of the best interfaces that you guys can go for. So coming to the Behringer stuff, they actually come with the Midas preamps. I recently upgraded to a Behringer myself. I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but yeah, there it is. At the price point what it's offered for, the Midas preamp is one of the best that you guys can go for. The only drawback which I see in this thing is that even though you have two inputs, only one of them has got a preamp. The second one is just an instrument input. In case you actually want two different vocals to be done at the same time, this might not be the best one for you. But yeah, if you're looking for something where you can just record your guitar and vocal over it, yeah, this would be the perfect one for you. Just to add on, this does come with the 48 volt phantom power as well. So yeah, that makes you pretty set for your recording career. So yeah, that pretty much equips you with the basic necessities what is needed for your recording studio.
Is Bajaao.com's open box deals good or bad? Alright, so here's the thing. It could be either ways. In fact, I'd say it's kind of a mixed bag. The reason being is because these guitars often have some sort of problem that's going on with it. The reason why it's open box. So it could be like minor dings and scratches. Sometimes it could be something else. It is very important for you to understand what you're getting into. So you got to go through the description thoroughly to know what is the shortcoming over there. Mahedar 6, what is your favorite heavy metal band? Grew up listening to a lot of Iron Maiden. In fact, I think they were pretty much my first heavy metal band, so definitely Iron Maiden. Up the irons, man.
Okay, when it comes to pure heavy metal, there are two frontrunners for me and I honestly can't choose between these two guys. And that's Iron Maiden and Judas Priest. So yeah, going a bit into the story, Iron Maiden was the first heavy metal band which I fell in love with. Although I'd heard Judas Priest also back in the day, I was not too much into them. And as the years passed, Judas Priest kind of started growing on me, you know. And then yeah, it's come to the point when I honestly can't decide between these two. Namanmata asks us, Schecter SGR006 or SGR-C1, which is better? Well, Namanmata, when it comes to the SGR006 and say the C1, there are not quite a lot of differences when it comes to the actual make. The specifications on both of these guitars are pretty much similar and well, the electronics and the hardware used are exactly the same. So for me personally, I could find only two differences between these two guitars. The first one is the fact that the 006 comes with only 22 frets while the C6 actually comes with 24 frets. So if you're somebody who wants the complete utilization of both these octaves, I would prefer you go for the C1. And coming to the other difference which is there, it's just on the body shape. I personally prefer the design of the C1 and it's purely because of the fact that if you look into the 006, it kind of looks like somebody forgot to finish the guitar. Or maybe it's just that somebody forgot that he had to hand in a new design the next day and he just thought, hey, I have just this, and somebody at Schecter just approved it. So yeah, if you're somebody who actually prefers this design, go right ahead, there's nothing wrong with it. And yeah, if you did end up buying one of these guitars, let us know which one you went for and why did you actually choose that.
Blue Cheeps asks, where can I buy pickups online in India? Raj Musicals, Amazon, Bajaao, Thorman, Onstage, Furtado's, Music Mall, Music Shack. These are some of the, websites that come to mind. I'll link them in the description as well. So, you could check these out. With Amazon, what you got to keep in mind is you have both .in and .com. What I will say about this website since I've shopped there is that .com is the most reliable in my personal opinion, because what you pay for, you will definitely get. And in case something goes wrong, it's easy for you to go ahead and get yourself a refund. What you got to keep in mind is it is the most expensive of the lot. You're going to pay heavily for shipping and import. But the flip side to that is all the shipping and import that you're going to pay, you will at least guaranteed get your product.
Anu Nocturnal asks us, favorite animated series. Now, although I'm not a really huge fan of anime series, there are two of them which have actually stood out over the years. The first one might be cliched, but then it's Dragon Ball Z. And the second one is just going to remind me of how old I am, because this one's called Flame of Recca. This was one of the series which used to come out in, say, mid or late 90s, and this was the first experience which I had with anime. So yeah, that did kind of stay in my head. And well, fingers crossed that I'm not the only one who remembers this show.
Dragon Ball Z. Have you guys tried the new Archetype-Gojira? Dude, not only have we tried it, we've in fact reviewed it as well. I'll leave a link to it in the description. First time I tried the format of, no talking and just play through in samples. Do you think it works? Let me know in the comments.
Webe05 asks us, which is the lowest drop tuning possible on acoustic guitar before the strings start slacking? Well, Webe, there are a few things which we need to consider before we can actually answer. First and foremost, what I've seen in acoustic guitars, usually you can pretty much drop them by, say, almost 1.5 to 2 steps. If you're somebody who's using a lot more thicker strings, say 12 gauge or say 13 gauge as well, your instrument does have the ability to go a lot more lower. The thicker the strings that you have, the more you can actually kind of get away with lower tuning. But then do keep in mind, on an acoustic guitar, if you have too thick of strings and you down tune it too much, it just starts sounding muddy. So yeah, my best advice to you at this point would be just to kind of keep tuning them like, half step at a time, and hopefully you end up with a tuning which doesn't sound too bad and still has that, say, tension on the string which doesn't make it too flabby.
Any important tips for a self-taught guitarist? Lakshya, I've done a detailed description of this in one of the previous videos. I'm going to link that as well in the description over here, where I walk through some of the things that you have to keep in mind to become a really good self-taught guitarist. So, hope that helps, man. Kabir4777 asks, black metal or death metal? I'm definitely death metal on this one.
So for me personally, I think I'd like a combination of both of this, which is black and death. But yeah, if it is strictly between these two genres, I think I'll go with death metal. Satyaki Sahu asks us, why don't you guys get a Fanfret? Well, Satyaki, I'm actually waiting to get my hands on one of the Fanfret guitars. But as you know, finding one of these things in the Indian market is really rare, and well, even if you do find it, it's quite expensive. So if you guys know a guitar which is quite reasonable here in the Indian market, anywhere online, or say even if your friends are selling one of them, make sure you hit us up in the comments down below, and well, we might just buy one of those.
So in my case, number one, I'm kind of comfortable with the regular stuff. Two, I don't do an awful lot of low tuning. I mean, I generally like the tuning of like D standard or sometimes a C sharp standard, or I drop tune a step here and there. So I don't really feel like I'm missing out on anything. That's probably the reason, but mostly because I'm just comfortable with what I have. Rings of Saturn or Infant Annihilator? Definitely Infant Annihilator for me.
Well, for me, it has to be Infant Annihilator. I did hear Rings of Saturn, and well, it just didn't vibe with me. Now, I know Lucas Fan is one hell of a guitar player, but then it kind of sounds a bit too robotic, if you honestly ask me. And hey, the Infant Annihilator videos are awesome when you think about them. The Fault in Our Stars asks us, thoughts on Jackson Randy Rhoads JS32? Is it worth buying in Amazon? Okay, I did check out Amazon. The only thing which I could find was this ad wherein it's valued at 35,000. Well, at this price point, I honestly feel it's the same what Bajaao is offering you. So yeah, even if you go for Bajaao or Amazon, both of these are retailers which kind of do make sure you get the best instrument, and they do have a lot of options for exchanging them as well in case you get a bad one. So yeah, coming to the overall thoughts on the Randy Rhoads JS32, it's a guitar which is pretty good for your intermediate players. I'm not particularly a fan of the pickups or the hardwares which come with it. In my personal experience, the hardware didn't actually stand the test of time. So if you're somebody who's ready to upgrade it at a later point of time, well, go right ahead. Oh, and just to let you know, the Randy Rhoads kind of body shape is something when you do have a bit of neck dive. So yeah, you might want to consider this as well when you're picking up the Randy Rhoads.
Nero lifts shreds. Why do people judge when you play a guitar? I guess because it's easier to judge than to actually learn to play it.
Now, there are multiple reasons why people might actually judge you for playing the guitar. I honestly blame it on stereotyping because of, say, a lot of movies and, say, TV shows and, yeah, the cliche culture which kind of hangs around people who play the guitar. Since the media primarily focuses more on guitarists being, well, heartbroken or, say, the whole hippie kind of a thing when you're completely into drugs or something like that. People do get a different notion when they see somebody going out with the guitar. So, yeah. And well, in places like India, it becomes even more difficult because they already have a lot of preconceived notions about musicians. And especially if you're somebody who's into heavy metal and playing the guitar, well, you're a drug dealer. Aniruddha Solanke 9 asks, I think there should be a documentary on the Indian metal scene. There are actually quite a lot of documentaries which are available online at this moment. You can just go to YouTube and type in Indian metal documentary. And if I'm not wrong, there are a few of them, like Ye Hey Metal is one of the documentaries which is there on the Indian metal scene. There's also a documentary about millennials, early era, about all the things that they went through. There are a few smaller documentaries about individual bands as well. So yeah, I feel at the moment we have quite a lot of these things. And let's not forget, we had a huge segment in Sam Dunn's Global Metal as well. But yeah, with all of this said and done, I do kind of understand where the question is coming from. And quite honestly, we do need a lot more of documentaries kind of just to shed light on what the life of a metalhead is here in India. Helmut Nook asks us, is it worth buying a Amicisound Aroma mini portable 3-watt guitar amp? Well, Helmut, I did have a look into this amp and well, it's okay. So whenever it comes to all these smaller 3-watt, 5-watt amps, something like this, it's purely meant as a practice tool that you can kind of have in your bedroom and jam along with. And yeah, if you guys are looking for like a brutal tone or something out of this, well, I think you might have to look somewhere else. But yeah, going by the options what the Aroma actually has to offer, I think this would be a pretty decent setup just to kind of record riffs. Keep in mind, the quality of this might not be all that well, and this would be just something that you can show your friends that, hey, I just came up with this guitar riff, should we do something with it? Or if you guys are actually planning to go on a camping trip and, just want to sit along the fireside and kind of sing Kumbaya, Wonderwall, or any romantic Hindi song for that matter. I'm honestly not able to recall any names, but yeah, if you guys want to do that, go right ahead. This is an amp which is kind of worth the price, but yeah, it is more about the flashiness rather than the actual utility of the amp. So yeah, we do have a dedicated video about these smaller portable amps, these 3-watt amps, and if you guys are interested, check it out. The link is going to be somewhere right here. And with that, we come to the end of yet another episode of #AskTuggtv. So if you guys have any other questions for us, make sure you guys comment down below or hit us up on any of our social media platforms. If this is the first time that you guys are coming across our videos, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. We have a lot of videos on experiments, original contents, and funny ones as well. So with that, this is TUGGtv signing off, and as always, stay safe and stay metal.